All right, welcome into the high noon edition of the Pugs and Company show program, whatever you want to call it. We get together each and every day, Monday through Friday at noon till about 2 o'clock or so. Depends on how the world is shaking out at any given moment. Sometimes we go a little bit later. Sometimes we won't quite make the 2-hour mark. Today, I don't know. Today's a weird day. Here's what we do on the high noon show. We cover all the things that are trending. Anything that people are talking about, anything that is going around on the interwebs, water cooler conversation type stuff. Hold on. Getting a little couple minute late start today. I do apologize for that. Let me see. Let's turn that down. Mr. Popular. Yeah. This is a current event show. Pop culture show. Hot topics, if you will. The things people are discussing, things people are talking about. That's what we like to give you a little cheat sheet on. So you can go forth confidently out into the world, feeling like at least you know all of the stupid shit people are talking about, because that's what we do here. We also come back at night at 9 o'clock. We call that the Pillow Talk edition. And that's just stupid. That's a stupid show. That show is just, we get dumb. Last night, I think we spent 45 minutes talking about old fashion brands from the 80s. I think we created the outfit. The outfit was, what did we decide? BK Knight's shoes, Gerbeau jeans, maybe like an IOU sweatshirt and a members only jacket. And how about we top it off with one of those big, crazy, tall Dr. Seuss hats? Remember when those were popular? Yeah, I do. I guess that was more than the 90s. All right, as you can tell, I am a little bit behind the curve here. I'd like to get started here. Let me give me a second. Trust me when I tell you, we've got some fun things that are trending. So not only some fun things that are trending, but some fun things that are actually breaking as we speak. Okay, I got to do this. Hold on. I didn't. I was on the phone. Talking with E. Hey, Pugs, why are you a couple of seconds behind? Because I was on the phone talking with E, my trusted and loyal sidekick here for this noon broadcast, and he adopts the personality or the character of sunglasses at night because he puts sunglasses on. That's why we call him. I don't know why it doesn't mean he does. He's an interesting dude. He's an interesting dude. That's all I can tell you. He may not be everybody's cup of tea, but if you knew him, he'd be your cup of tea because he's a wonderful, interesting dude. You just got to roll with it. All right, let's talk about today. Today is November the 4th, year of our Lord, 2021. It is the 300th day of the year. Fun fact. 309, I suppose, if we're going to count leap year. There are 57 days remaining in the year, and so 51 or 50, depends, until Christmas. Hokey schmokels, Christmas is already upon us, isn't it? I'm really dreading Christmas. I am just not. Oh, this is going to, look, it's going to be a good Christmas because I'm going to get to spend, in previous years, I had been in Chicago, separated from my 12-year-old son. So this Christmas, there's going to be more of an opportunity for joy because I'll get to spend more of the Christmas season with my son. But boy, oh boy, it's going to be stressful. That's all I'm saying. It's going to be a lot of stress. What are some of the big deals about today? Okay, here as those folks over on the ticket so brilliantly do each and every day. Why today doesn't stink? See, they do. Why today doesn't suck? Why today doesn't stink? Here's a couple of things that happened today. Well, actually, this is kind of a reason why today stinks. On this day in 1979, the Iran hostage crisis began. It was today. It was today. Remember that? You old enough to remember that? I am. The birth of Nightline. That's what the long-running ABC news show that follows your late local news, Nightline. That started as a nightly update on the Iran hostage situation, and it got such big ratings that even after the hostage situation was resolved, they just they decided to keep it going, and they called it Nightline. And now here we have Nightline. Is Nightline still on? I don't even know. I think it might be in some form, maybe. I don't know. On this day in 1980, Ronald Reagan was elected president. Now, a wonderful thing to a lot of people. People call him, one of the great presidents of all time. On this show, weirdly enough, we've been celebrating John Hinckley's music. So I don't know. I don't know how that all shakes out. That's weird, but people are complicated. Life is about the gray, not the black or the white. Nuanced. What else happened on this day? Oh, in 1996, Israeli Prime Minister Yitzhak Rabin was assassinated. I guess that's a bad thing, but I like saying that name, Yitzhak Rabin. On this day in 2008, President Barack Obama was elected. Good for him. And happy birthday to a couple of cool dudes. Matthew McConaughey was born on this day in 1969, and the greatest return man in the history of the NFL, Devin Hester, was born on this day in 1982. Also Des Bryant, but yeah, he's kind of a tool, right? Isn't he? I don't know. Is he? I thought he was a tool. Maybe he has reclaimed himself in some way, shape, or form over the past couple of years. I don't know. Look, hey, I'm the kind of guy, you're allowed to change. You can be a tool in your late 20s and then not be a tool in your late 30s. Because again, life is about the gray, not the black, not the white. We're all a little bit in the gray. We're all a little bit nuanced. And as our friend who joins us at night, James Parker, likes to point out, people are complicated. McConaughey. So McConaughey's birthday is today. This is interesting. He is, there's been this whole thing here in Texas about whether or not he's going to run for governor. And, whether you think that's a good deal or a bad deal, I don't know. I'm all for it. Let's roll them dice, baby. Let's see what happens. What the hell? What can go wrong? He seems like a good dude. He seems like, I always say that what we need to get rid of democracy altogether. And we just need to anoint a benevolent dictator. We just need someone who's universally regarded as a cool guy who can just make all the tough decisions for us. And then, you just be like, well, I don't agree with that decision, but, I do trust that he's cool. I have offered up in years past when I first created this idea, Tom Hanks, probably like 20 years ago, I thought, let's make Tom Hanks in charge of everything. Let's just put him in charge of everything. I'm sure it'll work out at least as well as it has worked out so far. Couldn't be any worse. But now I've moved on to Dave Grohl from the Foo Fighters. I think it's Dave Grohl's time. I think he could be the good, benevolent dictator. And that's kind of how I look at Matthew McConaughey running for governor of Texas. I don't know if he knows what he's doing, but he seems like a nice guy. A little weird, a little odd, maybe a touch eccentric. But, he doesn't seem like he would do anything overtly mean. He doesn't seem like he would be in the pocket of, some gross giant corporation who is trying to manipulate us here for their own gains. It doesn't seem like that. So, okay. So maybe I don't know. I'm even going to write in McConaughey. Although McConaughey's got a problem with the write-in thing because that's a complicated last name. I don't know that most people know how to spell it. I sure as hell don't know how to spell. Here's how I spelled it in my notes. I have no idea if this is how it's spelled. M small c big C Onaughey. Is that right? It might be right. I don't know. I wouldn't trust it on a write-in ballot though, because I think they like to make sure that all those things are written in perfectly. All right, so happy birthday, Matthew McConaughey, Devin Hester, and Des Bryant. Now, what is today? Each and every day here, we like to celebrate what today is because every day has a day of, it's National Beagle Dog Day. It's National Cheese Day. The other day it was National Housewives Day was yesterday. Well, do you know what follows National Housewives Day? Today, November 4th. It's National Men Make Dinner Day. I'm a man, barely, and I make dinner for myself every night. Boy, more on that later. There are a number of trending topics that are dealing with this inflation, and it just so happens that I have to go food shopping today. So that's going to be fun. All right, let's bring in, sounds like he rode a little bit late because he's got duties and jobs to do. Here he is, E the Artist, my co-host, the Ed McMahon, the Andy Richter, the Hey Now, Hank Kingsley.
Hey.
So we were just talking about what day it is today, and you just jumped in and think, well, yeah, I'll get you caught up. It's
Thursday.
Well, it's Thursday. It is Thursday. It was the lawn guys were here. I let the dog out. I hope the lawn guys are gone because it sounded like they were gone.
No, that wasn't the lawn guys. That was the next door neighbor's lawn guys.
Oh, it wasn't our lawn guys.
Yeah, I need to text down to Ed because our lawn guys will be here during
Oh,
this time period.
yeah. Well, then let's block off the dog door because I thought they left. I brought her in here. She was on my back porch going nuts when they were
Yeah,
leaf blowing the driveway.
I heard her.
She knocked over the chair. The chair is like lying sideways, so she was going nuts. I think that she is working up the guts to jump off the balcony. I think she is. I think she's gonna try and go flying, and it's about a 20-foot drop. So, 15 maybe. It's Matthew McConaughey's birthday today. It's Devin Hester's birthday today, and it's Des Bryant's birthday today. Now, I did a little spiel on Matthew McConaughey. By the way, I'm rewatching True Detective season 1. God damn, that guy is good. Talked a little bit about the greatest return man in history of football, Devin Hester. But Des Bryant, I was a little bit stuck on. Now, Des Bryant, you've been here through all of the ups and downs. When I left here 9 years ago, 8 years ago, whatever it was, Des Bryant was a jag bag. Has he changed? Has he sort of become a better dude in the community? I know he still lives around here. Is he more liked now than he was back when he was just a total jag bag?
You know, I really don't know the answer to that. I think him not being in the NFL for a while and his tweets and stuff, he seemed like he
wanted anywhere. I mean, it seemed like he was the kind of guy that could have gotten snatched up, but
seemed like, that kind of it came back to bite him in the butt. And I don't know. I don't know the answer to that question.
Well, happy birthday to him. I think he's 39. Wait, 1988. What would that be? That would be 20, 30, 31, 32.
32.
Wait. 20,
33.
30. He's only 33 years old? He was the best, well, debatably, one of the best receivers in the NFL. And he hasn't been in the league in what, 4 years? 3 years?
Yeah, I mean, I think he played last. I remember he played for the Ravens.
Oh, did he briefly, or I don't remember that, but
yeah.
Did he? Okay. All right. Well, hey, Godspeed to him. As I said, just because you're a jag bag at 29 doesn't mean that you can't be a decent guy at 35. People change. We're complicated. The world is not black and white. It's more gray. We are all nuanced. People are complicated. So I hold open the door for Des Bryant to win me over again. Last time I checked in on him, my deduction was that he was a jag bag. It's national. You know how yesterday was National Housewives Day?
Yes.
You know what today is?
National Husbands Day?
No, but sort of. It's National Men Make Dinner Day. Men Make Dinner Day.
Oh, what you offered to do if you had a housewife. You would be the dinner maker.
I would. I love to cook, especially if I have everything that's needed. Like if I have the right foods and the right stuff in the right space, I can cook up a storm, boy. I love it. So does Ed, our housemate. Ed knows how to cook. I think that is something that when you're a single guy for a period of time, I think you just sort of adapt these skills where, although I will say this, my son hates everything that I cook. He does not he likes a couple of things that I cook. And quite frankly, the things that he likes that I cook are just things that I stole from his grandma. They're just things that his grandma used to make for me when I was little, my mom, that I loved. And now I make for him and he loves them. But anytime I go wildcatting and try and make something for him, he hates it. But he's so sweet about it.
I think that's what happens when you're single and you're a dude in your home. A lot of things are tried. Like you wildcat a bunch, and you get these weird combinations, things that are left over in the fridge, things that are about to go bad. And then you're like, how about I throw that with this and this with that? And then boom.
Right.
Sometimes it works out. Sometimes it doesn't. But that's how I think most of that happens. It's not by choice. It's almost by circumstance.
Right. We learn how to cook things, men who are untrained in the kitchen. We learn how to cook things that we're okay with and that we'll make again and again and again. They may not be great, but we're okay with them. It's like, this ain't bad. Macaroni, Kraft macaroni and cheese with some meatballs and a can of Chef Boyardee ravioli all mixed up. Hey, bad. That's, my kid thinks it's gross, but Anyway, that is an actual recipe, by the way. I love it.
Really?
Oh, it's so good. It is
SpaghettiOs?
no, raviolis. So
Oh.
what you do
Chef Boyardee ravioli? Oh.
oh, dude, there's something about the red sauce in that can. The Chef Boyardee red sauce in the ravioli can, it will transport you immediately back to being 10 years old. It just takes you right back. It's like, wow, that is a flavor that I don't know if it's good, but it reminds me of riding a skateboard. It reminds me of playing with my dog in the yard. I mean, food is a lot like music. Our loves for it are contingent almost entirely upon a sentimental attachment that we have to it. This is why people say that's my favorite song, and somebody else would be like, I hate that song. Well, it's somebody's favorite song because something really wonderful was happening when they heard it, and they've attached this sentimental attachment to it. Same with food. But you take some Kraft macaroni and cheese, and you get yourself some meatballs. You know, you can buy them in the frozen section. You microwave them up. That's how I do it. You throw some meatballs in the Kraft macaroni and cheese. So now you got sort of like a hamburger helper cheeseburger mac, thing going on.
Yeah, well, you're not really stepping out there when you're adding mac and meatballs together. I mean, that's kind of the way it should go.
But when you crack open the can of Chef Boyardee raviolis and pour that in there and then mix it all up, oh man, I'm sorry.
I don't think you're far out though. Like you're still in the same range. You're just going with cheese that ultimately gets put on to regular spaghetti and meatballs anyway.
Yeah.
Just maybe not that yellowy cream cheese or creamy cheese, but still, all those ingredients that you find in the Italian, it's like food for animals. You got everything in there. It's just one's red, one's yellow.
Exactly. It's what goes together. It's like, does that sound like it goes together? Let's give it a try. And, more times than not. Like I said, I don't think I've ever made anything. I've always thought as a single man that I should do a cooking show where I just make a meal out of just the shit I got. There's no real recipe. It's like, will this be good? And everything is made. If you have fresh vegetables and all that stuff, you chop up some onions or some peppers, you can sprinkle that in there. You can get fancy with it, but just as far as that combination goes, it's really good. Chef Boyardee ravioli, Kraft macaroni and cheese, and frozen meatballs.
Like if you and Ed did a cooking show, you would be the Oscar.
Yes.
And Ed would be the Felix.
He is so Felix.
Right?
He is so Felix, and I am so Oscar.
Like that would be the best. Like he's got meat. We've got 2 meat thermometers.
Yeah.
That are electronically controlled with an app on your phone.
And I've never used a meat thermometer in my life.
Right. And then did you notice I found it? It went missing.
Where was it?
Somehow it had gotten thrown like on the side of the refrigerator back in the cubby, and it was back there. So I had to pull because I was like, where the hell did this meat thermometer go? Like it's too sophisticated for you and I to use. Yeah. Only Ed would know how to work that thing. And so I was just bugged by it. So yesterday, I think it was yesterday. Yeah. Yesterday I pulled the fridge out of the thing, and there it was against the wall with its magnet, stuck there.
So just to paint the picture,
we're back to 2 meat thermometers.
There is a wood block with a magnet on it that sticks to the front of the refrigerator, and it contains 2 fancy meat thermometers. Last Saturday,
2 wood blocks.
2 wood blocks. Oh, it's 2. Okay.
Yeah.
So yeah, like I said, Saturday when I was confronted with, what did you do with the meat thermometer? And Felix came after me. I'm like, dude, I'm Oscar. I don't use a meat thermometer
like that. But you're embellishing a little bit here.
Well, I felt confronted. Well,
you definitely were confronted because yes. you're the one who uses the grill more than I, and everybody knows that I am not going to get into a meat thermometer for my cooking.
Well,
I'm the worst cook of the 3.
People should know that I do not use a meat thermometer either. And in fact, when I was so harshly confronted there in the kitchen, my first thought was he pointed at it. And do you remember what my first word was? My first word was he pointed at the wood block that hangs on the refrigerator, and I said, "Is that new?"
Yeah, they were both brand new.
But not new. It had been there for months. And
Oh,
I
for
just
sure.
I
Yeah, yeah.
never even
We
noticed.
don't notice. Yeah.
No. And then I was like, I remember walking back and I'm muttering to myself back to the guest house. I'm like, I'm going to get blamed for that. I just know I'm going to get blamed for that. Who else would do it? It's probably me. They think it's me, but I don't use a meat thermometer. And then I had all these theories. And here's what it came down to. Look, you are not a Felix nor an Oscar, but you are somewhere in the middle, but you are also, with you, everything has its place. You're organized. Maybe you don't even consider it. But from my Oscar perspective, you are an organized dude. So you would know, you would put it back if you used it, right? I'm Oscar. I'm like, what's this? Let's put it here, right? But as I'm walking back, I'm like, wait a second. This house has two little kids who are just terrible at these things. Like,
Right.
it's like, and me. How can I blame it on one of the two kids? If this thing is never found, how can I blame this on one of the two kids? Because I know damn well I've never used a meat thermometer. I didn't even know that thing was there. It was a bit of got a little verklempt over the whole situation. So I'm glad to hear that it was found.
Yeah, and Ed, as you would point out, it says the wood blocks are more than just storage. The wood block is the charger and the transmitter.
Everything's got to be from space with it. Everything's got to be futuristic.
So anyway, I knew that they were fancy and somewhat expensive, and that Ed had invested in them. And not only did we have one, but we had two. So it was bugging me because, like you said, I always have, like, I got a spot where I know things are, even if I'm not organized. Like the
You're
stuff
very
isn't
organized.
organized. Well, I'm sloppily organized. I just know where the slop is. Let's just put it that way.
Well,
And so, yeah, it was bugging me because I was like, man, that thing's got to be here. Or I thought it was Mason or Dominic, like one of the two of them or both. They're just okay, we're done with this. So yeah, I
well,
found it.
not that they'd even use it, just that they'd
No,
slam the door and it would fall out, and then the dog would kick it under the refrigerator. You know what I mean? Just
no.
anything could happen.
Or look at this, it's pointy.
Yeah.
We're
And
gonna
then they
stick
start
it.
stabbing each other with it.
Yeah, we're gonna stick it into an apple and eat it. Anyway, who knows what they do with it?
Oh,
Put marshmallows on it.
we need a reality show. You, me, and Ed living in this 1%er compound. We need to have camera crews found. We got the dog. We got the kids who are constantly yelling at each other. This is a reality show. I'd watch this shit. I would. National Men Make Dinner Day. It's the first Thursday in November. Places the man of the house in charge of the kitchen and the evening's meal. Some men like to cook and do so on a regular basis. To those men, kudos to you. You can submit your favorite recipe, blah, 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 National Men Make Dinner website. This day was created for the men who do not know their way around the kitchen. That's a bullshit old school way of thinking. I know my way around a kitchen. But as we've established, I think the best, whereas Amel's very organized, I feel the best place for something is where it currently is. Just leave it. That's the best place for it. It's there. The world is still spinning on its axis. Everything is fine. It's there.
Yeah, I don't know. Like when it comes to like things, like it bugs me if they're not in their place, but I'm not good at selecting their place. Like that's something that's beyond my level of organization. Like I know where it is, but I don't necessarily like to select the spot where it goes. Because then I'm always second guessing. Like, oh, should I put the glasses here and the plates there or the forks over here? Like the wife has always got a logic to where things go. Like, okay, you keep the plates close to the dishwasher because when you get the stuff out of the dishwasher, all you got to do is open up the cabinet over top in order to put the dishes in, and the forks are over here. Like, I don't go that deep into it. I just look like, okay, storage, stick it all in there. Now I know where it is, but it's not organized that way.
Oh, that's
Same thing in the closet. Like all my stuff, okay, if I see a bar, it's all hanging, but I don't like have it sorted like, okay, long dresses go here, short dresses, I mean, women have just like this order to things that I guess they do keep houses better, or they're used to it.
I don't know. Yeah, I guess it depends on the woman. Both the women that I've been married to have been pretty damn organized. So from my personal experience, all women are organized.
Right,
And you're telling me that yours is it too. So,
yeah, well, I'm just saying, you open up, like, underneath where the sink is, where the disposal is,
yeah,
like, I don't know who figured out, why do you put all the cleaning products down there? But they're there,
they are. Yeah. Yeah.
I would have not picked that spot.
No, no, where would you? They'd be out in the garage if a guy was in charge of it. And every time you needed it, you'd have to go out to the garage and you'd curse yourself for putting them out in the garage. But then, you'd think about your fantasy lineup and forget about it. Okay, there are some rules here to National Men Make Dinner Day. You want to hear some of the rules?
Sure.
Because again, it doesn't count if you just take Kraft macaroni and cheese meatballs and dump a thing of ravioli. That's not Men Make Dinner Day. Here are the rules. The main meal must include a minimum of 4 ingredients and require at least 1 cooking utensil other than a fork. So you have to use a spatula or something to cook this meal.
4 ingredients. Like, does that include, like, so that's the entree, the vegetable, and the dessert? You're already into 3.
There you go. See, it's not difficult. It's at least 4 ingredients. That's a piece of meat, a potato, a vegetable, and a slice of cake. There you go.
There you got it.
That's
We're
4.
in. That's 4.
Ain't nobody need to be Picasso here. I mean, this can just be simple.
Does spice count as an ingredient? Because, if you're on the grill with the steaks, you can get in, like, some salt, pepper, some rub.
I think that is an ingredient. A spice is an ingredient.
Okay.
Or is it a spice? I don't know.
We're already over that limit. We haven't even got to dessert.
All right, rule number 2 for National Men Make Dinner Day. The man does the shopping for all the necessary ingredients. You got to go shopping. You got to buy the meal. You got to pick out the meal. You got to buy it and you got to bring it home. It's the whole hunter-gatherer thing. You're hunting and gathering in this equation.
I don't mind shopping. I don't choose well when I shop, but I don't mind it.
Boy, we'll get into that because a couple of things that are trending, and I got my kid this weekend, so I gotta go shopping today after the show. I am not looking forward to it. There are multiple trends that concerned the current state of shopping for food in America. Man does all the shopping for the necessary ingredients. Also, rule number 3 for National Men Make Dinner Day: you got to clean as you go.
Oh, you failed that one.
Yeah. I'm looking at my little kitchenette now. Yeah. Yeah. I got stuff. I think I'm looking at Sunday's dishes.
I was going to say, there's no way you're passing that one as Oscar.
No, but for national, you got to give the old college try for National Men Make Dinner Day. All right, there you go. That's one of the days today. There are a couple other days here today. It's National Men Make Dinner Day. Here's a weird one. It's National Chicken Lady Day.
National Chicken Lady.
This is for like some lady here. This is what it says. I can't imagine that this is widely celebrated. National Chicken Lady Day on November 4th annually honors Dr. Marthenia Tina Dupree. For 12 years, Dr. Dupree worked for the second largest chicken restaurant in the world. She's a doctor and she works for a chicken restaurant? What kind of doctor is she? She worked for the second largest chicken restaurant in the world. She never made it to the
top.
She never made it, but she's got a day. She was widely known due to her work in the community during this time and through her work with the community and the people she helped. Dr. Dupree became known as the Chicken Lady. So there you go. It's Chicken Lady Day.
Speaking of chicken, not to get off down a rabbit hole, but Lucky's Hot Chicken is our go-to hot chicken place.
So good.
I found another one.
Yeah.
Dave's Hot Chicken.
Okay.
Down at like Preston and Beltline, kind of right before there, in between that, what I think is it, Spring Valley? I can't remember, but Dave's Hot Chicken. I tried that.
So hold on, before you give your review, I want to say maybe it was Saturday, maybe it was Sunday. I don't know, whatever day Dom was over here. And I walked into the house and I was immediately confronted by Dom, who was waving a menu in my face and saying, "We found another chicken place." And Dom and I had a nice 2-minute conversation about the pros and cons of this new place versus Lucky's. And I can tell you that your son, although he very much liked the new place, he still comes down on the side of Lucky's as being a little bit better. And again, food and music. I believe that's because he has a sentimental attachment to Lucky's because of all of the things that he's experienced there in the past year, the conversations, the fun, so that's probably why it gets there. But
I'll tell you what it is. I know what was the balance that broke the balance on the scale. There were 2 items.
Soft serve.
Exactly. Lucky's has free soft serve at the end, and Dave's does not. So when we were done with the chicken meal, Dom was like, "Where's the ice cream?" And I looked around and there was no free soft serve. And that was like, well, I'm going to have to take points out because we were doing the rating system. He had to take points off for that. And the toast, they give you like the hot chicken on top of the bread.
Yeah, which I like to make a sandwich out of.
Right. There's something about like the toast at Lucky's has kind of got a sweet flavor to it, like it's a sweet bread of sorts.
Okay.
Whereas the bread at Dave's was just kind of regular bread. Like if you had like a piece of toast and they didn't really do anything specific to it. They, of course, the sauces and stuff drain on it, but it didn't have a different flavor. The pluses of Dave's versus Lucky's is that they have sauce that comes with it. It's not an add-on like, when you go to Lucky's, you got to get the comeback sauce.
Yeah, and it's extra, and that sauce is delicious. That makes the chicken, you have to get the sauce.
Right, and so they make you pay for it there, whereas at Dave's, you get the sauce, and then they also give you packets of honey, which is a different thing, and the guy suggests that you maybe put a little honey in the sauce, mix it up. So give both of them great ratings, but yeah, if you and the Dave's one is a franchise. There's one, like I said, at Preston and Beltline, close to that, intersection, a little bit south of that on the east side. And then there's another one in Frisco. The manager informed me that they're not owned by the same group. They're a franchise, and the Frisco franchise is different ownership than the Beltline one, but they expect to have 10 locations here within the next 5 years.
I until recently, I used to consider that fast food place that does chicken tenders. What's it called? We went there.
Cane's.
Okay, Raising Cane's, right. So I used to be very dismissive of Raising Cane's because I just thought, oh, really? It's a fast food restaurant with just a kids menu. That's all that they have, because really that's what chicken strips are. They're like kids menu thing. And I was never impressed by Cane's. Although, good still, tasty, but I was turned my nose up to that place. Then I got into the whole Lucky's hot chicken thing, and it's essentially the same thing. It's essentially a kid's menu, but it's good. It's really good. I have never Lucky's hot chicken. They're chicken strip. They're not. I don't know what they are. They're boneless, but they're battered. They are so delicious. That is just like, it's not like chicken loaf, like a chicken McNugget or anything like that. You just know it's a real piece of chicken. It's just so good. So,
well, the other thing
won me over.
Yeah, the other thing about Lucky's is their strips, believe it or not, as big as they are, they're a little smaller than Dave's. Dave's strips, like you order like 2 of them and they look like you're getting 2 chicken breasts. Like that's how big they are. They're huge.
All right, so now the big question for me, price, because Lucky's is a little expensive.
I think Dave's is a little bit less expensive.
Okay.
Than Lucky's. I don't know. The card's down there on the table, but and they call them sliders. Like they have the sandwiches and they call them sliders, but I don't see them at all like sliders. I see them like, the sandwich. It's like it's not a slider, it's a sandwich. That's how big the damn strip is.
Okay.
So I think I got the number 3.
Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
I think I got the number 3, which was a combo. You get a strip or 2 strips and a 1 slider sandwich, and that he said was the most popular as the starter menu. But dude, you talk about just people coming in and out. And the other thing Dave's has is it has a to go, whereas Lucky's does not.
Yeah.
And so there's advantages to Dave's that, I would say convenience, getting in, getting out of there, the sauce being included. Some people don't have to have the ice cream, but a lot of people want the ice cream in order to kill the burn.
Why does Ed do this? Why is every word out of Ed's mouth confrontational? What is he doing? Why do you need the sauce? It's all about the spice. To you, emperor of your world. To me, I love the sauce.
The sauce is good to dip the fries in too.
Suddenly I'm a lesser human being because I like the sauce in his estimation. Good Lord, man. How about a moment of joy? Let's do a little moment of joy here. This is, I mean, look, there is nobody. Ed is a militant chicken eater, apparently. He is militant about the way he. Oh, by the way, you didn't tell me. I never got the rundown. Did Ed do the Lucky AF or the?
Oh, he's done the Lucky AF.
What about the Super Hottest?
No, he has not done the Best of Luck, and
Coward.
I don't think he's going any higher.
Oh, coward! What's the matter? You know you can't do it.
In the chat room, if anybody can handle the Lucky's AF, I want you to let us know. Ricky or Omar says that we need to try Ricky's hot chicken at 75 in Beltline. I guess that's another one.
I guess we will. I guess we are going to be trying all the hot chicken places here in Texas. All right. How about a little moment of joy here? This is a nice one.
And then there's some Mike's.
There's Nashville in Chicago. There's like a new chain of Nashville hot chicken.
Yeah, right. Ed just commented no. He said AF is hot enough.
Coward, you weakling. All right, look at this. Here's your moment of joy. Look at this dog doing dishes. Look at him. Look at that guy. And then he's gonna walk around.
No, that's not a dog. Really?
That's totally a dog. Yeah, that's totally a dog.
It looks like somebody maybe in a costume, but
no. Look at that.
No, because of the feet, you can tell.
Get really close. That's a dog. Yeah, the little legs. Those can't be human. Look at that. Look at now. He's just gonna walk around the kitchen. All right, there's your moment.
That's really cool though that he can walk around like that on his legs, like on two back legs like that.
I have seen that in other videos. There are certain dogs that can walk around. They don't do it, you know. I think we need to start really being worried about the future when dogs start walking upright, because you know isn't that how the Planet of the Apes started? Something like that. Hey, we're doing our first listener submission here for Moment of Joy. This comes from a fantastic old school friend of the show. Here, let me see if we can do this. Adam Reyna sent this one in.
Okay.
He suggested this as a moment of joy, and I got to tell you, I'm kind of with him. I like this. I want to know this dude. I want to be a part of this dude's action. Here we go. This is a dude, a local dude. This comes from Dallas, Texas TV on Twitter, which is a really cool Twitter account you can follow. They do a lot of fun local stuff. All right, so there you go. You see my man here?
I do.
My man, he's in his car. He's just driving around the neighborhoods. Let's see what he's got going on.
Big fam, holla at him. What's your name, baby? Benny, man. Big Benny, what you got? What you got for him?
Big Benny.
Boudin, turkey leg. Huh? Can I pop the trunk for him?
Okay, my dude is like the modern day hot dog cart guy or tamale vendor guy, right? But
I think so. I think he's saying he's got boudin and turkey legs.
Yeah. So let's see. I don't see the cart though. I don't see how he's pulling this cart full of food.
Here, come pop the trunk for him, man. That boy got seed. Anything y'all want. Ride, slab, he finna get it.
Wow.
Big fam got y'all. What y'all want?
Look at Benny.
Anybody want it, they can get it.
Benny looks like he's got a bit of a medical thing going on with his arm there. So this is all the more impressive for Benny.
Huh? Shit, what you got for him?
Look at this. Tell me he doesn't get hassled by cops. I bet it's good, though. I bet Benny knows what he's doing.
Shit, Meals on Wheels. They ain't ready for him.
They say you got some real big.
Big fam say you got Meals on Wheels. You got everything. Meals on Wheels, baby. Hold up. Big fam, holla at him.
All right, there you go. Thank you, Adam Reyna. That was Benny. Benny doing the Meals on Wheels thing. Now, as we got closer to that, I initially thought that he was rolling around town pulling that thing, but it looks like maybe he was parked there. He was just parked there and Because it didn't seem like you couldn't pull that thing.
Well, I mean, I'm guessing you could, but the thing to me that looked like may get wrecked if he was pulling it are the wheels that were underneath it. Like it seemed like if the car was going to do some bouncing, because the shocks do that, you might have taken out the wheels. But if he pops up the wheel, maybe he's got some kind of mechanism that makes the wheels pop up so he can hold it on the trunk. But I don't think you'd be rolling with fire.
I've known Benny all of 20 minutes now. I wouldn't put it past him. I think Benny knows what he's doing. Benny's got that thing rigged up. I'd bring Benny. I'd buy food from him.
He needs some decals on the side of the car, so you could call him.
All right. Let's see here. Let's get into the stuff that's trending today. Today is, honestly, I started looking at the trends about 9:00 this morning, and I thought, oh my God, it's going to be one of these days, one of these bad days. But then as we got closer to noon, more things started popping up that I found interesting. But early today, it was just all bad, divisive stuff, and just not anything I wanted to get into. A bunch of still people yelling about the election, but here. This was happening today. Of course, we've been promoting the music of John Hinckley, right? We've already talked about how today, on this day in 1980, President Ronald Reagan was elected president of the United States. And we here on this show, both the High Noon edition and the Pillow Talk edition, have been promoting the music of failed Reagan assassin and bizarrely interesting singer-songwriter John Hinckley. Well, I think I may have started some sort of give and take with John Hinckley, because just before we went on the air today, by the way, we're listening to some John Hinckley here. Before we went on the air today, this came across my Twitter timeline, and it speaks to something that we had been discussing the last couple of nights. Do you see it? Do you see what it says?
I got to enlarge it here.
Okay. So
I'm putting a band together. I was thinking I could perform solo, but it's better if I have a small band behind me on stage. Check out my latest video on YouTube. Don't be cruel. Don't forget I have 14 original songs on Spotify and other streaming sites.
John Hinckley's putting a band together and they're hitting the road. Come on. What kind? Come on, man. John Hinckley plays somewhere in Dallas. We're going to see him, right?
I think there's opportunity here because James is coming back to town and he's got a guitar down.
Yeah. But some of the things that people are writing, like there's so many musicians that are like, dude, I'll play with you, dude. Let me play drums in your band, King. Everybody's like, I'm telling you, it is so weird.
Have you replied?
Oh yeah. I sent.
What'd you send?
I said, well, I didn't. I retweeted it and I put a message on there, which, if he's got any ego whatsoever, and he may not, because the drugs may have just killed that 20, 30 years ago. But I put, what did I retweet? Dude writes catchy ass songs. I play Roses and Lace, Never Ending Quest, and we have got that chemistry almost every day on my live stream, and people like it. So if he sees that,
there you go.
Maybe
you should add, would love to do an interview.
Yeah, I don't want to go there.
Why?
I'm telling you, because it's ooky. Because, I was thinking about this. Like, let's say that on the off chance that we were able to score an interview with John Hinckley, because we have been, what started out as a joke, me playing the John Hinckley music, the start of something new is now our closing theme. I'm sorry. If I ever do anything else in this business, my closing theme is going to be the start of something new from John Hinckley. It used to be Mel Torme's I'm Coming Home, Baby. But no, now it's a start of something new. I think that's a beautiful way to end each and every show. And although it started out as a goof, I like a lot of his songs, man. Totally.
Well, even more the reason why you do the interview. You tell him you're going to stay off of anything that's, that past. Maybe you do want to know his inspiration for the songs. But short of that, he's started something new.
Now, look, I always say I can separate the art from the artist. And in this case, it's really difficult to do because, man, I just keep thinking about James Brady.
Yeah, that's the hard part. That
That's
is the hard part.
I mean, Reagan was fine. He was an old man. Tim McCarthy went on to have, a long and happy life. He's still alive. He ran Tim McCarthy, the Secret Service agent, ran my hometown for 30 years, Orland Park, Illinois. He was chief of police. He was like the most powerful. He was huge. But James Brady didn't really. James Brady was terrible. Severe brain injury. He was never the same. He was the White House press secretary. He was the Jen Psaki or the Sean Spicer. And then all of a sudden he's, severe brain injury. And, the Brady bill was in his name. And, I see it's ooky. It's ooky. It is ooky for me to try and separate that. And I was also thinking about, okay, so if we talked to John Hinckley, we would have to have a team meeting. You, me, and James. We would have to sit down and look. You ask him one stupid question right out of the box about Jodie Foster, and it's over. You know what I mean?
I wouldn't ask him that. I would ask him what his inspiration was for Leather and Lace. Were you thinking of what were you thinking?
See, but James, who is a professional broadcaster and understands, that if you come in hot, that he's probably not going to hang around, that he can always hang up and leave and then it's over. I don't know that James wouldn't see more value in chasing him away right away. You know what I mean? Like James might see more value in just opening with a Jodie Foster question just to get the response and the hang up. And that would be enough for him. I don't know. I'm confused. I wouldn't know how to interview John Hinckley.
Well, and that to me is the good dynamic about it. Because you could ask him a question and you just hopefully he's just going to roll.
I feel like I would end up defending the guy in some way. And then suddenly I'm the guy defending the guy who did that to James Brady. And I don't want to, that's what I mean by ooky. I don't know how. Willing to give it a shot if John Hinckley is out there listening and he wants to, come on the show. He is a fantastic singer-songwriter. I can separate the art from the artist. I don't know, man. I don't know. I hope he puts a band together. I'd love to see that band.
I mean, Mike Reiner wrote to him while he was in prison and Hinckley responded back.
Yeah. That's true. But that's all I know. That's the only thing I know about that story, and I've heard it for years. Mike Reiner wrote to him in prison, and Hinckley wrote back. I mean, I don't know what they were talking about. I don't know what, I don't know if it was, I don't know the context of any of it. I just know that that's a thing that happened. And having an opportunity to interview him about his music.
Well, I think the other thing you got going for you is we're here. We're in Highland Park.
Yeah, hometown boy. Hometown boy.
So like, glorious. If I don't know, I'm with you on all of it, but I still think just because we've been doing this thing for so long with him now, it seems like every day somehow he becomes a topic.
It ain't going to end as long as he keeps pumping out beautiful pieces of music like this. It ain't going to end, man.
It's going to be interesting to see who he chooses as band members.
Can't be anybody of note.
Well, right? But maybe you got to ask him where are you located in order for me to figure out if there's a band. Is this a band you're assembling in Dallas? Because we have no idea where he lives currently.
Yeah, he lives in Virginia. I was able to find that out. He lives.
Okay, he does live in Virginia.
Yeah, I think he lives with his mom in Virginia. But you think like it couldn't be anybody of note that he would recruit to his band. But what is more punk rock than backing John Hinckley? You know what I mean? Like I could see some hardcore punk dudes, being like, "Yeah, Hinckley's my lead singer." Yeah, no, what are you going to do? All right, so John Hinckley was trending earlier, and because of that tweet, he is looking to put a band together. So
He's actually trending because of that tweet?
Yeah, that's how I found the tweet. I mean, I follow him, but I didn't see that tweet come across my line. I just saw that Hinckley was trending, and I went, whoa, what did he do? This plays right into our show. And I clicked on it, and I found that tweet. And then it's all a bunch of people asking to play with him. Shockingly, man, the response, I mean, it's crazy. There's not a whole lot of, how dare you have a life.
This is a missed opportunity if you don't reach out to him. I mean, think about it. The dude is trending across the United States because he said he's looking to get some band members together. I mean, go like tweet that we're looking for a fourth wheel on the Pugs and Company show, and we're not going to get squat. This guy says he's looking for band members. And he's like trending at the top.
We didn't attempt to assassinate Ronald Reagan.
I get it, but what
he's
I'm
a celebrity.
saying is,
we're not.
If you're the first guy to land him for an interview.
All right, here's some other things that are trending today. Jenna Ryan, everybody's favorite Frisco real estate agent, is trending. Do you remember Jenna Ryan?
I don't.
Oh, you'll remember when I tell you. She's the real estate agent from Frisco that took a private jet to Washington, D.C. on January 6th with a bunch of like gross North Texas rich guys, and she stormed the Capitol. And you don't remember Jenna Ryan?
Now I do. I do. But I got her confused with the hair salon owner lady.
Oh, who's that? Oh, yeah. Same. Yeah,
right.
Basically same. Here, we'll just give you a look at her so you remember who Jenna Ryan is. You see her there? Look at her. She's standing there. Look at her. She's all smiles. The one picture here, she's on. Where is she at? That's probably a
broken window. It looks like.
Yeah, standing all happy about the damage, all happy about storming the Capitol. And then here she is. Where is this? Probably that airport right off Beltline, right? The Addison Airport, probably getting on a private jet to fly up there.
Yeah, that could be millionaire.
Could be. And then, they got her right here. Look at her. They got her right here. Coming in, never off her phone. Look at her, the middle of one of the biggest moments in history, and her nose is right into her phone. She's Instagramming away. See if we've got any other crazy. I hate this woman. I just, and you know what? Maybe she's not that terrible, but I just feel like when I lived in that area, I ran into women like Jenna Ryan all the time. Whether it was at the Pub and Grub or Stonebriar, doesn't matter. Just it's a type of woman that is so shallow and so completely obsessed with the image and what's at the surface, and it's just thoughtless and unnecessarily mean and cruel in her opinions. I really don't like this woman, and I don't like women like her, and she just sort of embodies this type of Frisco woman, and they're almost all real estate agents. I'm Jenna Ryan Real Estate. All right, so why is she trending? She's going to jail. That's why. She's going to jail for 2 months.
Wow, she didn't get hit with a big restitution, only $500, but I guess 60 days in jail was a lot.
And do you know why? Do you know why they're saying that she's absolutely going to jail and the judge got pissed at her? Because she apparently went on her Instagram back in like March and said, ain't nothing going to happen to me because I'm a rich white woman. The judges or the prosecutor was like, hey, Your Honor, before you, make the sentencing here, maybe I can direct your attention to Jenna Ryan's. That's my lawyer guy. Your Honor, if I may. Look at her Instagram, Your Honor. U.S. District Judge Christopher Cooper on Thursday slapped convicted rider Jenna Ryan with $500 in restitution after she was charged with a single count of parading, demonstrating, or picketing in the Capitol building. She also got 2 months in jail. At the hearing, Cooper told Ryan that he believed her punishment would tell Americans something about the courts and how our country responded to what happened. And I think the sentence should tell them that we take it all seriously. According to a sentencing memo that chronicled her appearance at the Capitol and her boastful commentary in the aftermath of the attack, Ryan in March had declared on Twitter that she would not face consequences for the insurrection because she's white. Here's what she said. Definitely not going to jail. Sorry, I have blonde hair, white skin, and a great job and a great future, and I am not going to jail, she wrote. Sorry to rain on you haters parade. I did nothing wrong. Could you, I mean,
this is perfect. If she really does get thrown in there, that is perfect.
Is that the height of just privileged arrogance?
Oh, I know. I mean, the judge needs exactly what he said. She needs to learn something about how the court system should work.
Yeah, you know, I love it because it balances the scales, because we always like to make fun of the idiot gangbangers who commit their crimes and film it and put it up on Instagram. It's like, what are you doing, you dumb moron? This is like the other end of that. You know, the black poor kid in the ghetto committing the crime, doing stupid shit. And then you've got this rich white woman up in Frisco who's every bit as fucking stupid, who just doesn't.
And guilty, right?
Guilty. Yes. She's standing in front of the window. Hey, look what I just did. I just broke this window. You know, it's like, come on, what the hell is wrong? I ain't going to jail because I'm a white woman. She's also one of these women who are ugly, but because they have money, they put all of this into the hair and the makeup. You know, it's like if they didn't have money, they'd be walking around Walmart looking like fours. But because, you know, she's got the hair extensions and all of that, you know, she's pushing like a 6. She could be a 6, but
I still say there needs to be like an orientation day in jail. Like every day when the new, you know, what are they called? What jail? What are you, a victim?
Inmate?
Not a victim. Yeah. When the new inmates get checked in, they need to have a live TV shot going to the whole prison as to so-and-so, and this is what they did, and then drop them in the Gen Pop. Like that would just create a whole different environment around a bunch of these tools that get thrown in there.
Months before her hearing, Ryan had boasted about flying in a private jet to the insurrection and called it one of the best days of my life. Ryan showed little remorse in the weeks after her arrest, often defending her involvement, but separately telling the Washington Post that she had regrets. I bought into a lie, and the lie is the lie, and it's embarrassing, she said in an interview with the outlet published in February. I regret everything. Well, she regretted. She said that in February, but then in March she tweeted, "I ain't going to jail because I'm white." So, come on.
Yeah, that was her thinking.
Imagine
she
being her
wasn't going to
lawyer.
go to jail because she was being remorseful in February, and then her arrogance popped back up again in March. Like, this is not going to happen.
That's the thing about these women, these Frisco, North Plain, or whatever, that area town. These women are just, they're just, you know, I knew a girl over the course of probably 7 years who went from being a really kind and decent and thoughtful person to being just an awful, awful, mean-spirited person, a Jenna Ryan type, if you will. And you know what I connected the dots to? You know what happened? She started dating. She was like 25, and she started dating like a 55-year-old white millionaire. And she started hanging out with all of his friends, like at Del Frisco's, you know, and stuff like that. And I'm like, she got poisoned. She was like a nice, normal person. And then all of a sudden, she spends a couple of years hanging around with these awful men who are like 25 years older than her, listening to all of their Rush Limbaugh bullshit. And now suddenly she's like an awful person. And she is still to this day an awful person. And that's the kind of thing that I think happens with the Jenna Ryan types. I think it's like this crazy male influence, because there's a lot. Jenna Ryan is the type of woman who wants to be a trophy wife. And if that's your goal in life, that's fine. I begrudge nobody what their life goals are. But you know, find out who you are first before you end up being a medallion around the neck of some rich guy. And that's the thing. That when I say the Jenna Ryan types in Frisco, I'm talking about the trophy wives. The trophy wives in that area of town are just awful. They're just awful. They're all awful. Not true. Not true. I've met, actually, now I'm thinking of like two who are really cool, and I won't say their names, but their husbands are also kind of cool though too. So maybe that's why. All right, so that's why Jenna Ryan is trending. Let's see what else is trending here. Oh, Rust. The film Rust is trending again today. Are you following this? Boy, oh boy, these details keep
Yeah, I am.
murkier.
This to me seemed, well, I'll let you talk about it and then I'll give my spiel.
Apparently, the armorer, the woman who is being pinned with the responsibility of the gun, she's saying that there's a conspiracy theory going on here, that the gun was, well, I'll read it. The woman in charge of weapons on the movie set where actor Alec Baldwin fatally shot cinematographer Helena Hutchins said Wednesday night that she had inspected the gun Baldwin shot, but doesn't know how a live round ended up inside. Who put those in there, and why is the central question? Hannah Gutierrez Reed, the armorer for movie Rust, said in a statement. Let's see here. Hannah kept, her lawyer says, Hannah kept guns locked up, including throughout lunch in that day. And she instructed her department to watch the cart containing the guns when she was pulled away for her other duties or on a lunch break. The statement goes on to say that Hannah did everything in her power to ensure a safe set. She inspected the rounds. She always inspected the rounds. The statement adds that she inspected the rounds before handing the firearms to Assistant Director David Halls by spinning the cylinder and showing him all the rounds and then handing him the firearm. No one could have anticipated or thought that someone would introduce live rounds into the set, Gutierrez Reed's statement said. The statement also noted that she did firearms training for the actors as well as Mr. Baldwin. She fought for more training days, and she regularly emphasized to never point a firearm at a person. All right, so essentially what's happening here is she is introducing into this the idea of sabotage, the idea that somebody may have intentionally put a bullet in there. And that leads us to all of the reports of a bad set. People walking. Remember now, hours before this fatal accident occurred, half the set walked off. Half the crew walked off the set, I should say. They were upset about the lodgings. They were upset about delays in pay. And when you mix that with now the armor going, somebody may have done something. Somebody did. Now we start to think, oh, is there like someone that was so pissed off that they would walk off the job and then try and do something? I'm going to show them. I mean, people are crazy, right? There's a story here.
Well, I think the story is, she lawyered up.
Well, you got to, though.
Well, but
producers are blaming her for everything.
Okay, that's what I'm saying. She lawyered up. And so now if you're the attorney, you need to create some space between her getting beaten up by everybody on the set as the armorer and basically throwing her under the bus to creating this doubt.
Yeah.
And now if there's going to be a jury or there's going to be, a civil trial versus a criminal trial, because we know the civil trial's coming, because now you saw that the husband has hired a law firm to represent him in wrongful death cases.
Oh, there's some big pockets with the producers too. And they
and her being 23 years old in the armor, she's not the big pocket.
Yeah.
And so there's going to be an onslaught of people that are pointing her direction to say, if you do win a judgment, it shouldn't be from my client, Your Honor. It should be from over here, over there. So, I don't know that. I guess I'm not convinced that that's the way it went down, but I would understand why, if I were representing her, I would be throwing that into the ring, because it certainly creates doubt in potential jurors' mind, our minds as we sit here today. And, then you get back to the conspiracy theory that this cinematographer was working on, a documentary with the child sex allegations against several Hollywood actors. Is this the way that you keep that on the down under?
Okay, I haven't heard that.
No, remember we talked about that 2 weeks ago. That was one of the rumors that was out there.
That, but I didn't know that.
She evidently, the cinematographer was working on something.
The dead one, Helena.
Yes.
Okay.
And
Oh, okay. Wait, that is starting to sound okay. Continue. I'm
yeah.
sorry.
So anyway, so they think, well, in order to keep her from being able to finish that, maybe somebody tried to take her out.
I don't know. Every couple of days there seems to be something new. Now I'm certainly not convinced by a defense attorney's statement as to what might have happened, but tell me more. I want to know more about this. I think that it's been established that there was a lot of conflict on that set. That it was not a good day. The day that ended with Helena Hutchins being killed was not a good day. A lot of people walked off. They were left in a lurch. They were behind schedule. They were rushing. Would some of these people who are, walking off in anger and hatred over the production, is one of them capable of sabotage, of trying to do something to people? Are terrible. People are capable of anything. I think we've learned. I mean, somebody not on their meds, somebody undiagnosed who, I don't know. I think it's interesting. I think the problem is that when the story broke, it was all just so unbelievable. You know what I mean? It's all just like, how does this happen? Guns get fired in movies all the time. And
Yeah,
no
but I
movie
mean,
star was
still
ever
the
killed.
golden rule is you never point a gun at a human. And in this instance, I guess, because she's the cinematographer and she's having to get that shot, that's maybe
They shoot,
something that you
but
don't do.
in films, they point guns at each other all the time.
Well,
I mean,
but real guns, and this was a real gun.
well, yeah. All right. Well, that's developing ... Oh, I'm sorry. Did I cut you off?
No, but I'm just saying, her saying that. The other thing that I think is really kind of one-sided here is every time you see a picture of this poor girl, it's her with the two revolvers on either side of her head.
Yeah.
I mean, there's got to be another picture of her.
Yeah, I've seen other pictures, but I know the one you're talking about.
Right. I mean, and if they do show another picture, they still show the one with her with the two revolvers upside of both of her head.
Also trending today, The Rock is trending. This is an associated story. The Rock has announced that he will no longer do films that utilize real guns, whether they've been dumbed down or supposedly disabled. It doesn't matter. He is only going to use fake guns in movies from this. That's a big deal. The Rock is a big star of big action films. So he's the kind of guy that can make that industry standard.
According to Jeremy Piven, highest paid actor in Hollywood that hasn't taken one day of acting lessons.
The Rock. I love it. And Jeremy Piven, of course, his family, the Piven Theater in Chicago, has spent his entire life endlessly studying the craft. And The Rock is much bigger than him. You think
he was really mad at his stand-up show about that.
I bet.
Even though
because
he used it as a joke. Yeah.
It bugs him. All right. This is interesting. David Chase and Tony Soprano are both trending today. Truth be told, they were trending yesterday as well. But today, there is the addition of Tony Soprano trending with David Chase. David Chase is the creator of The Sopranos. He's the writer. He's the guy who dreamed it all up. Why is he trending? Well, he did a podcast the other day, and he was directly asked about the ending of The Sopranos, the fade to black moment that caused everybody to go, what happened? Did he die? What? The song, Don't Stop Believing. And that was it. That was the end of the show. And people were like, oh my God. Now, I have always argued, because I'm a big Sopranos fan, I've always argued that nothing happened. That was the point of the entire series, that Tony Soprano will live the rest of his life looking over his shoulder. And that bullet may never come, but that's the life he has chosen. Even when he's sitting at a diner with his family having a beautiful little dinner, he's always going to be left wondering, just as we, the audience, were left wondering, is this the moment? I've always been married to that. That's what I thought. That's what I was comfortable with. Did you see it? I mean, do you have a take on it? I don't know if you...
I don't have a take on it because I never saw the whole entire Sopranos. Like, I never watched it every season.
No matter...
I caught individual shows.
Yeah.
And I probably remember the last one, saw the last one, but I don't remember it all tied together.
no matter what, his life away from his day job is, I believed that the idea was that you can't have both. You cannot have a peaceful, calm, and safe home life when you live the day job that Tony Soprano does. And that was sort of the whole point. How does a guy like that balance these two aspects of his life? Because when he was at home, he was a suburban dad. His kids were wonderful. They went to an upper class school. They went on vacations. But because of his day job, he couldn't be the dad that was the insurance agent. He had to constantly be looking around and looking at people. And do I know that guy? Is that Fat Tony from Brooklyn? That whole deal. The 2018 book, The Sopranos Sessions, this is why David Chase and Tony are trending, because of this podcast. The 2018 book, The Sopranos Sessions, was written by... okay. David Chase was asked in this podcast, is Tony dead? And I just said, and look, the end of the discussion is what David Chase says. It's David Chase's character. He is the only one who knows. The fade to black, if there was another page that explains what happens, he's the guy that would have wrote that page. So, so the question to him was, in the 2018 book, The Sopranos Session, it was written by a couple of guys for the New Jersey Star-Ledger. That's the paper that Tony, this is the podcast questioner asking. That was the paper that Tony always read. Matt Zoller, Seitz, and Alan Sepinwall wrote the book. They interviewed you for that book and asked you to talk about the June 10th, 2007 series finale with, of course, Don't Stop Believin' and the famous cut to black. You said to them, well, I had that death scene in mind for years before. So my question to you, David, A, do you remember specifically when the ending first came to you? And B, was that a slip of the tongue? Because you see, David Chase answered these guys' question. I had that death scene.
Right. So he kind of cornered himself.
Right. So the question that was posed to David in the podcast was, do you remember specifically when the ending first came to you? Which is a little bit of an end around question.
Right. And he's cornering him with the question.
Right. And B, was that a slip of the tongue? And David Chase's response was, right. Was it? With a question mark, to which the interviewer then says, I'm asking you. And David Chase responds, no. Podcaster, no. And David Chase goes on to say this. Because the scene I had in mind was not that scene, nor did I think of cutting to black. I had a scene in which Tony comes back from a meeting in New York in his car. At the beginning of every show, he came from New York into New Jersey. In the last scene could have been him coming from New Jersey back in, or coming to New Jersey back in from New York for a meeting at which he was going to be killed. Podcaster asks, and when did the alternative ending first occur to you? I've spoken with showrunners who said, I knew at the beginning exactly how my show was going to end, or by season 3 or whatever. It sounds like when you were writing, you liked to stay 6 scripts ahead of where you were in the action, Chase says. Yeah, but I think I had this notion. I was driving on Ocean Park Boulevard near the airport, and I saw a little restaurant. It was kind of like a shack that served breakfast. And for some reason, I thought, Tony should get it in a place like that. Why? I don't know. That was just like 2 years earlier. David Chase is basically saying that Tony got it. that the fade to black was the gunshot. We were seeing the family from Tony's perspective, the beautiful daughter, the son, the wife. Tony was happy. He was smiling. The camera panned to everybody at the table. They were all smiling and eating their French fries at this diner, and then black. I think David Chase answered it. I think he's comfortable answering it. So there you go. That's why David Chase and Tony Soprano are trending today.
Well.
We got another dude who's trending today. Fade to black, of course. Dave Portnoy. Oh, this dude wasn't trending until about 15 minutes before we went on the show today.
The Barstool guy that was like everywhere I went in Saratoga when I left for the horse races, I was running into him.
Oh, Dave, the mob is coming for you. You just look, this guy is a piece of trash. Hey, let me just be, again, I said this earlier in the show. The world ain't black and white. The world is gray. People are nuanced. People are complicated. I personally have a world of respect for what Dave Portnoy has been able to do from a one piece of paper printed in his apartment fan sheet at Boston Celtics games that he used to sell to people as they were coming through to Barstool Sports, a true new media empire. This guy did it. I applaud that. Having said that, he has revealed himself over the last 5 years to be a super douchebag. I mean, just like someone that I hate that guy. I hate just about everybody associated with Barstool, except for Barstool Big Cat. And initially, Pat McAfee. I used to think like, oh man, Pat McAfee is so good. What is he with Barstool for? He's such a cool guy. And these dudes are such douches. And then he got away. Big Cat, who is probably he's probably the biggest star of the Barstool universe. I mean, he's the guy that does the ESPN stuff and all that. He's too big at this point. I think he needs to walk away from Barstool, but whatever. So Dave Portnoy is in trouble because Business Insider has put a report out there. What a surprise. Whole bunch of women are saying that he beat them up during sex. Yep. Want to hear some of the details? Ugh.
Oh.
Women said that they had sex with Portnoy, now 44, and that the encounters turned into frightening, humiliating, and brutal experiences that have taken a toll on their mental health. Two, including one we'll call Madison, said Portnoy both choked and filmed her without advance permission. Another one who said that his sexual exploits with young women, some recently graduated from high school. Well, if they're 18, stop it. You know, it would be weird if he was with a sophomore in high school, but they're college girls. College girls.
How old is he though? 44? Come
44.
on, dude. That's bad.
No. Look, it is socially bad. It's not criminal. I mean, if you're over 18 years old, you can do porn and you can be in Playboy. I mean, you know, the line is.
Okay, we're talking over 18. Okay.
Yes, yeah. Well, I'm assuming. It says recently graduated high school. So I'm assuming that's just a more provocative way of saying
18
college freshman, you know, or whatever. In the popular Barstool Reddit threads, stoolies regularly discuss Portnoy's conquests. Playing a dangerous game here, Davey, quote, is one of the responses. Portnoy is trying to get away, and here's the girl, Madison again. I was trying to get away, and he was like, stop running away from me. Stop running away from me. But Portnoy, she said, just went harder. Madison's flight home wasn't until 2 days later. See, he's flying.
Flew her in?
He's, man, that's a baller move. That's what all these rich
guys
but
do. Like, okay, if you're flying in and you're 18, you did it.
You want to expound upon that? You want to?
Well, I mean, if you're 18, you're a young adult.
You're out in the world.
You flew in. What did you think he was flying you in for?
Did you believe that you were going to be swept up in this rom-com romance with the douchey guy who runs Barstool? You'd get married and live in a mansion on the East. I mean, what did you think? You know, did you not think that he was a complete trash person who was flying you in just to have sex with you and then discard you? I mean,
it's
you know,
how are you that dumb?
Madison's flight home wasn't until 2 days later, so she slept on Portnoy's couch, both because of her emotional distress surrounding the event, but like Madison, she said Portnoy choked her. He kept spitting in my mouth, which was really gross, Allison said. Oh, this is another girl, Allison. I was kind of scared. I didn't want to disappoint him. Whatever. I'm just glad he's taking heat today because that dude is a total douchebag and he seems like a completely bad lay. He seems like he's spitting. He's spitting in girls' mouths. I think you need to ask permission. That's just me. If you're into that, May I spit in your mouth? Oh, jeez.
And I don't think, chat room, Leslie says, do not blame a victim for being victimized. I'm not blaming them, but I'm questioning their thought process.
Look,
Like,
nobody's.
it's like you've
Can
got
we
to
ask our
be
daughters to be smarter? Can
you
we ask
got
our
to be
daughters
smarter than that is what I'm
Yes.
saying. How did you not put that in the this could possibly happen category?
I would love to live in a world where a young, beautiful woman could expect to go to a wealthy, rich old man with a reputation's hotel room at 2:00 in the morning and not expect to be accosted. I would love to live in that world, but the reality of it is that people are trash and you need to protect yourself. Now, this is not any sort of deflection of guilt or blame. The victim is not the victimizer. There is a victimizer here, but please be safer is all I'm saying. Be safer. I knew this girl. We'll call her Ashley. We were out at a bar. She was a friend of a girl that I was dating. We were out at a bar and she met some guy and she was drunk off her ass. And this guy said, hey, we're driving to Houston. We're getting in a car and we're going to drive all night and we're going to go to the Kiss concert. There was like a Kiss concert in Houston. And she went with them. And I remember talking to this drunk 23-year-old, 24, whatever she was, and saying, are you fucking kidding me? You don't know. Oh, he's sweet. Come on. We've been hanging out with him all night. Now, it was fine. They actually went to a Kiss concert. I mean, she never saw the guy again. But holy shit, man. Holy cow. I was so disappointed in that girl. I just felt like, why would you do that?
I mean,
this is
and
not
we're not
excusing the behavior of predators. It's not.
It's not excusing that behavior, and it's
Well,
not
let's
to
fuck
say
up their game by being a little bit more safe.
it's not to say that he shouldn't be prosecuted if he did something illegal to her, and not minimizing what he did because she was not smart enough to know that that was an option. But somewhere you've got to be accountable.
Leslie offers, and I love Leslie. Leslie's an old friend of mine. She says, if he wasn't a dickbag, she would be okay. He was a well-known dickbag. A well-known dickbag. I mean, that's nuts. I mean, Mike Tyson went to jail for what he did to that beauty pageant kid. Mike Tyson was a well-known animal. That was a scary situation for that girl to be in, and I just wish she hadn't put herself in it. But nah, never mind. Not going there. I certainly wasn't going there about Tyson. I was going there about other situations. There are women who see some sort, there is a risk, management issue that goes on here where you think, well, if I go to Harvey Weinstein's hotel room, he might put me in a movie and then I'll become famous. Yes. But he's a well-known predator. Years before he got caught, he was well known for being that.
You make a good analogy using not a human, or you can make a good analogy using not a human, but using an animal. Okay, if you have a snake and somebody's around a snake and then they get bit by a snake, you're like, it was a snake.
It was a well-known snake. It was a well-known snake.
What did you think could possibly happen? And you're talking about a guy that's a well-known snake. And so for you to go, oh, well, he's a really, really nice snake, I don't think he would do that to me. At the end of the day, he's still a snake.
Leslie also says being naive is not a crime. Nobody's saying that being naive is a crime. Being naive is incredibly fucking dangerous. That's what we're saying. So don't be naive. Of course it's not her fault. She says it's still not her fault. Nobody is saying that.
Okay, let's take the human out of it, though.
How do we fix this? What we're saying, we're not assigning fault or blame. What we're saying is, how do we make sure this doesn't happen again? What we must implore our women to be a little bit more discerning, a little bit more afraid that something like this is going to happen. If there was more fear of this shit going on, then maybe these things wouldn't happen quite as often. That's all I'm saying.
Well, I mean, I guess you're saying it's not her fault because he's a human and he had a decision of choosing right or wrong. But in the analogy of a snake doesn't have that rationalization power to go, this is right behavior, this is wrong behavior, this is just going to act instinctively. I mean, okay, but still, you got to have some kind of thought process that this is possible.
Yes. Yes. And instead of leaning hard into the Princess Diary version of how he's going to sweep me off my feet, he's going to turn out to be the Cary Grant of my dreams, and we're going to live happily ever after, like this is some Nora Ephron rom-com. You know, there are that fantasy exists, and I think that fantasy fuels these poor decisions. And no, this isn't pretty soon we're going to get to, oh, well, what was she wearing? That's a ludicrous. That's moving the goalpost. We're not talking about that. I am talking about how do we protect women from piece of shit guys, and it starts with women being way more willing to lean into the Mike Tyson situation than the Nora Ephron rom-com situation. We've got to be, I say we, because I'm not even separating this between men and women. We've got to be smarter. We've got to be more aware of the dangers. And
yeah, and why should someone have to live in fear because someone else is a predator?
Because people are predators.
Because people are predators. I mean, that's like as simple as it gets.
That is, the world is full. See, this is the thing that always upsets me about my liberal friends. And, you know, I still align. I caucus with the liberals. You know, I'm more moderate. But this idea that we should all exist in the world that we want instead of living in the world that is. The world that is filled with predators. I wish to God it wasn't true.
Well, that's why jails exist.
Yes.
Go to a prison.
Fear exists.
But I'm saying go to a prison and you'll figure out why there are people that are behind bars because they are stone cold predators.
Why does the human emotion and response of fear exist? It's in us to stop us from jumping off the cliff onto the rocks below. Fear is a very real thing. We need to utilize it. It's not something that needs to be abolished because we want to live in some utopia. The real world is awful, and there are pieces of shit guys everywhere. This is not about blaming women. This is not about excusing the behavior of bastard men. This is about how do we stop more women from being in these situations. This is not a controversial hot take from me. I'm trying to be as reasoned as I possibly can here. And it starts with not getting in a car and driving to Houston for a Kiss concert with a dude you got drunk with for 2 hours.
Or letting a 44-year-old guy fly you in when you're 18 years old.
Yeah.
It's just crazy.
Yeah. Well, God bless her. Anyway, that's why look. Hey, whatever happens with Dave Portnoy, good for you, dude. You can afford all the lawyers you need. You're a well-established piece of trash. All right, let me see here. Oh God, I don't want to get into this. All right, Freed.
We need to leave the chat room alone for a minute.
Yeah, no, look, I love the give and take with the chat room.
No, I do, but I'm just saying the latest comment here is like, I'm on the male side, okay, of this equation. I know that guys are pieces of crap.
Oh man, that's a rough one, Adam. There's a lot of shit I don't share about my life. You shouldn't, you are out of your element when you start making those kinds of acts. I love you, buddy, but you are making a statement. You don't know shit about the last year and a half of my life. So, and the people I love and the things they've been.
Right. Just never mind. Yeah, just time out. We're just going to leave that. Even go.
I love you, Adam, but.
And I love all of everybody that's in the chat room. And I'm not trying to give a hot take either.
No, these are not hot takes.
I just think that you've got to be somewhat knowledgeable that there are people out there that have nothing good about them. And that's why we have prisons. And when you run into those people, even though they're out there in free society, it's just a matter of time, hopefully before they end up behind bars. But you've got to protect yourself from those people.
Yes. Look, we're speaking as parents. I mean, that's we're not the parents of daughters. I just want people. I was triggered a little bit by the idea that we're not supposed to live in fear because of the bad actions of others. No, that is precisely why fear exists. Fear tells us when to not step off the cliff because there are rocks below. That's a very important part of being a human being. Someone who lives without fear is just destined to have some really bad shit happen to them. Fear is important. Fear, you don't live your life in fear. That's no way to live. But there are signals. There are red flags that should get your fear quotient up. And you should listen to that. And it just seems to me that the girl, well, I'll go back to the example. I'm going to Houston to be with the Kiss Cats or with this guy. That girl ignored all the red flags. Ignored that this was a very weird, spur of the moment kind of things to do. Why? Because she probably saw a Drew Barrymore movie, where, she got in the car with Matthew McConaughey and they drove cross country and they fell in the. Stop it, right? I mean, listen to the fear. Don't listen to the Nora Ephron novel in your head. Just go with it. Just be a real person and take care of yourself.
I mean, if people didn't respond to their fear emotion, most people at this point in their life would be dead or be maimed in some awful way or not able to function at 100%. I mean,
this is why we will never have a nice society ever again, because Leslie and Adam and some of the other people that are chiming in here, we are all 95% in agreement. We are all on the same side of this, but you're going to war and it's condescending, saying things like, you just don't understand, over a 5% disagreement. I mean, if we people who are on the same side essentially of this whole argument, James isn't here. James would be here offering hot takes that would really set you off. But if we trying to have a decent conversation about how we can stop these kinds of things from happening again to women who are maybe a bit naive, if we can't get some form of common ground, nobody will never agree. Nobody will ever agree on anything again. And, the war is coming.
If Dave Portnoy was on at a school playground, driving in a van, inviting kids in for candy, there would have been parents that have warned your kid, don't do that.
Yeah.
If anybody, or if he calls out, your name, make sure that he knows this code word that we have between us before you jump into the van with him. Those are things that we do to kids that are in elementary school and then into high school. Just because you're now 18 doesn't mean you throw all that out the window and think now the world is your oyster and people that are over 18 are just not going to treat you that way.
Adam says, and I appreciate the previous text here, Adam, where he says he never wants to speak for me. He says, I understand that you are coming from a place of love and empathy for the victims. Yes, of course. A fatherly defense of these terrible things that can happen. But it still gives way too much of an excuse for men to continue their shitty behavior. No. Didn't say anything about the men. I am not focusing on the piece. Let somebody else, let the courts, let some much bigger, stronger man go to the hotel room and beat the fuck out of Dave Portnoy. I am not worrying about that aspect of the thing. I am worried about the victims. I am focusing on the victims. I am not giving any sort of permission or excusing the behavior. I am simply acknowledging that the behavior exists, and to pretend that it doesn't, I would love that it wouldn't. I would love it if men were all knights in shining armor, but they're not. There's a lot of horrible people out there. That is the reality of the world. So we've got to protect the people who are possible victims to these guys. We can't just pretend like, well, if we say they shouldn't exist, then they don't exist. You're excusing them by acknowledging their existence. No, that's not what I'm doing at all. I'm just not dealing with that part of it. I'm dealing with how we can. I'm playing defense on this. I'm playing defense. I'm trying to defend.
Well, yeah, and I guess you know, if I open up my eyes, I could see how it looks like possibly you and I are blame shifting because
No.
we're saying, well, there's something that she could have done in order for that not to happen.
But it did happen. So how could we prevent it from happening again?
And
That's where we're at.
and so it's not really that I'm blame shifting. I feel like I'm saying you got to learn to play the game better. And yes, I feel 110% sorry that there's some scumbag out there that's going to do that to you or do that to people. So me saying, hey, you got to play it better, I guess, is you're interpreting that I'm going to put blame on them. And I don't know that it's truly blame. It's just like you've got to open your eyes up to a bigger world.
If you're coaching basketball and a kid misses a shot and then you show them how to not miss that shot next time, are you blaming them for missing the shot, or are you trying to help them
Exactly.
to avoid it from happening again? I mean, we are all looking to accuse someone of something. Well, you're excusing I am not in any way, shape, or form excusing the behavior of the likes of Dave Portnoy. What I'm saying is that the likes of Dave Portnoy exist. They exist. I can't, that's too big a mountain to climb, getting rid of all them fuck sticks. I can't deal with that. But how do we make sure that maybe the next girl doesn't fall victim? And the first thing I would say is just know that they're fuck sticks. Just understand that they're fuck sticks and stop thinking that this is a rom-com. That's all.
Yeah.
We will move on. I don't understand how my teardown of a douchebag like Dave Portnoy turns into me being Tucker Carlson. How the hell did that happen?
It wasn't you. It was me. I will say, I will take the blame for this one. It wasn't you. It was me here. I was the one that said, come on, you got to be smarter than that.
But I agree with you. I'm not going to let you take that alone. I agree with you. Okay, maybe that's not the way to say, come on, you got to be smarter than that, because that does sound like, you know, you're blaming dummy. You got to be. It's not over. That's probably not the best way to put it. I want you to be safe. I want you to acknowledge that rich men who are willing to fly you across country, they want to fuck you. That's what they're doing. They're not flying you across country because they want to hang out and introduce you to their parents, okay? Their idea is sex. And either you're into it and you're fine with it, or you're not really thinking about it. You're not really thinking about it the way that you don't understand that they see you. You're being hunted. You're being hunted by a
what
rich
happened
guy
is
who saw your Instagram profile, thought you were hot, and said, hey, how'd you like to come here?
Yeah. And what happens in a lot of instances, and I'm not saying this one, but in a lot of instances, it's the money. The money got in your eyes.
All right, now we're moving on.
No, but I mean, it's true.
I didn't want to do that.
I mean, it's true.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. All right. Hey, Tom Hanks. Who doesn't love? Whoa, what a nice little conversational sorbet we got going here. Tom Hanks. Who doesn't love Tom Hanks? Tom Hanks is definitely not Dave Portnoy. Tom Hanks is now saying that Jeff Bezos asked him to go into space before William Shatner, but he also wanted him to pay $28 million. Hanks was like,
how many million?
28 million. Tom Hanks says Jeff Bezos asked him to go to space before William Shatner, but wanted $28 million. Tom Hanks was offered to go to space with Jeff Bezos, but he didn't want to pay for it. The movie star told Jimmy Kimmel about it. The price tag was just too high, according to Hanks. Hitching a ride on the Blue Origin mission was $28 million, he said. That was the contingency. He had to pay that. The Castaway star also joked that we could all play make-believe. He's got a new movie coming out where he's an astronaut. And I think that's what Bezos was doing. He's like, oh, Hanks is about to do an astronaut movie. Let's really send him to space. That'll be great. Nah, Shatner was the better call. You get the old man up there.
Well, it sounds like that Bezos was marketing to Tom Hanks to promote his movie. It was going to cost him $28 million.
Yeah, maybe that would be it. It would be good promotion for the movie. So therefore your production company, whoever's putting it up, they should pay whatever. But he said he didn't do it. All right, moving on. Well, obviously he didn't do it. He said he didn't do it. Oh, did Tom Hanks go to space and we missed that? How did that happen? All right, let's see what else is happening today. There are other things that are happening.
That makes me wonder if Shatner paid to go.
Well, I don't think so. I don't think Shatner paid. I think that Shatner was a freebie. Look, what do I know?
Well, I mean, think of all the coverage he got because he was going.
Yeah. All right, here's something that's been trending all morning long. This one is, this is crazy. Milk, MILK is trending. It's trending alongside inflation. Milk has gone in the last couple of weeks from $1.99 a gallon to $2.79 a gallon, which this is coming off of the heat of a CNN story that they ran this morning about a family here in Texas who has 2 kids of their own and then like 6 adopted kids. And they apparently buy 12 gallons of milk a week, and their milk bill is just ridiculous. Well, I mean, and so the story was about how milk has gone from $1.99 to $2.79. I said earlier when we started here, I have my kid coming this weekend, so I have
40% increase.
I have been noticing this for weeks, and it has forced me to jump around to different stores. I have to go shopping today after the show. I got my kid coming. He's got to have stuff to eat here. Right now, honestly, I have like a bag of Knorr Spanish rice, a box of popcorn, coffee, and a few other things. I got meat over there. The meat situation's good. I got meat and vegetables in the freezer over in the big house, so that's good. But I got to get everything from peanut butter and jelly. I got to get bread. Stuff. Just stuff so that there's other stuff. You have a 12-year-old. They're constantly opening the refrigerator looking for something. You know what I mean? I mean that's just how they live. So I got to go shopping today, and every time I go shopping, I have a very strict budget. And I have noticed over the last couple of weeks, I used to be able to buy a jar of the signature brand peanut butter or jelly, it doesn't matter, for like $1.25 at Kroger. And then suddenly one week I go there and it's up to like $2. And, in my head, I'm like, okay, $1.25 for this, $1.25 for that, because when you have a budget and you're shopping, you know exactly how much money you want to spend. And I started just saying to myself, like I went to a Kroger, I was up in North Dallas a couple of weeks ago for a meeting, and I stopped at a Kroger that was up in that area, and I'm walking through the aisles, and I'm like, why the hell is this Kroger so much more expensive? Because it was a different price than the Kroger that I go to down here. Then a couple of days later, I had to go to the Kroger down here, and I'm like, holy shit. It's not just that Kroger. It's the prices have jumped exponentially. I mean, it is. I do not know if you have a family, people are feeling it. Inflation. I have never witnessed this level of rapid inflation in all of my years. Now, well, I'm not destitute. I mean, I can certainly provide food for my kid, and we're going to get it done regardless. Worst case scenario, he's got a grandma. Grandmas are always good for,
Right.
What I'm saying is that there might be a little truth to that. We're going to get it done. But what I'm thinking about is, man, what about like when I was a little kid? I was raised by a widowed single mom who had, a job that she just ground out every day, waking up at like 4:30 in the morning every day. And then there were times when she had a second job just to make ends meet. What about those people? I mean, what about the family with, look, all I'm saying is what's happening currently with inflation. Look, the stores aren't bare. You see a lot of people, the Tucker Carlson army. The stores are bare, and that's because of supply chain and Biden. That's bullshit. Stores aren't bare. There's all kinds of shit in the stores. But the prices are skyrocketing on everything. Gas is up almost $1 coast to coast from what it was just a couple of months ago. Meat, they're saying that the next big thing is going to be meat There are going to be meat shortages. I rely heavily on the Tom Thumb buy one get two free. I'll buy like a package of pork chops for $10, and then you get like another 2 packages for free. So you're essentially getting like $30 worth of pork chops for $10. I love that. I rely on that. I am now living in fear of the meat crisis that they say is now going to come, where meat prices are going to shoot all the way up.
See, and this is where I go with the stimulus checks. They giveth and then they take it away. Like, I think people that have gotten these stimulus checks over the last, couple years that
You're
have
not making
come,
up the difference.
but it helped them in a way to get over this. But yes, you always come out a little shorter and a little shorter and a little shorter. That's just kind of unfortunately the way the rich get richer, the poor get poorer. But that's kind of what I say. Every time you see this, it's some way that they're gathering the riches back.
It is situations like this where I just think about what my mother had to go. And I was such a little bastard kid. Like, kids, they don't understand. I literally thought money grew on trees. You know what I mean? Like, I thought there was no reason why the other kids in school have the really cool Nikes and I can't have them. Why can't I have that? You know what I mean? And now they always tell you, they say, well, you wait till you have a kid. You wait till then maybe boy, is that true. In this current period of economic inflation that is happening within the last few weeks here in the United States of America, wow, has that been driven home. It is crazy. A jar of generic jelly costs over $2 now. It used to be like $1.09.
And I don't know how to feel like it's weird when you mention fuel prices going up, because I think okay, because we're here in Texas, don't we want the fuel prices to be higher? Like, people that are doing well, it seems like Texas is doing better than if we're getting paid more for that because it comes out of here. But unfortunately, I guess it goes to only a small percentage of the Texas population. So you don't want, I don't know. I always get confused by that, because it's like, the right is like, oh, look at gas prices now. Yeah. And you're pocketing how much more money now because gas prices are way the hell up there, but you're then going to use that to throw Biden under the bus, I guess. I don't know. Fuel prices, I get how the rest of the country would hate it and how it pushes transportation costs and costs of getting things around the country. But it's like, you would think you're rooting for Texas because that is one of our main industries, is oil and gas.
Look, I believe in the future of green. I think that that's the way everything is going. But I'm telling you, if we're going to have to suffer years and years of this kind of inflation to make the turnover from, oil and gas into green, I don't know, man. I don't know how people are going to make it. I mean, it's going to be pitchfork and torch time. I mean, there are going to be a lot of people who are going to feel the squeeze in this transition, and it sure as shit ain't going to be the people living in this neighborhood. It's going to be, that's how the French Revolution began. I mean, that's how aristocracies fall. Because when they change over and there's an economic impact, it doesn't affect the people who are at the top of the food chain. It affects people who are below it. And more times than not, there's hundreds more times people below it than there are on top. So,
yeah, I mean, I think oil just
scary.
hit $85 a barrel last week, and it's slowly going up.
And the stock market has never been booming more. The stock market it just reached some milestone yesterday. But
that's people, what Trump would go, oh, the stock market's doing the best it's ever did. And, that hasn't went away. It's since Biden's been here, it's just continuing. But you keep on hearing now how everything in the, the red world is just down the toilet.
The stock market has been crushing it since Obama. That's a fact. It didn't just start to pick up under Trump, and then Trump said it was going to tank under Biden. The stock market is an independent entity that has absolutely nothing to do with whoever happens to be sitting in the Oval Office. The stock market is going to do what the stock market is going to do based on what all the people who have their money in the stock market do. That's it. Doesn't have anything to do with the economic policies of a president. Maybe the day-to-day ebb and flow of it. You'll have a down day. But it'll regulate itself. Do you remember a couple of weeks ago it was crashing? But it's still, isn't it still above like 30,000?
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
I don't
it's
know. I'll
some
pull it up
milestone.
and tell you at the moment here before we get off.
12 years ago, when the crash occurred, when we had this horrible thing, it was under 10,000. And I can remember economists saying, well, if we can sustain ourselves above 10,000 for a couple of months, then I think we'll be on the road to recovery. We're over 30,000 now. I mean, if you don't know what that means, neither do I, truthfully, but it's just a good 36. Is that what it's at? Is that what the milestone was? I remember reading a story yesterday about.
Yep. Currently, right now, based on my E-Trade app, 36,005.91.
Yeah, that was the milestone that it hit. It had never gone higher than 36. The stock market had never been worth more money. And yet, a jar of jelly is now over $2. Jeff Glenn says, when I make my grocery list, I pull up Kroger on one monitor and Walmart on the other. I literally compare prices on every item, and then I go to both places and get my orders. I'm with you. I do the exact same thing, man. I've never used coupons before. Using them now. I mean, if they're out there and they're available, I will go to 3 different stores. I don't use Walmart. I go to Tom Thumb, and I only buy the meat at Tom Thumb because that is the best meat deal ever. You buy one, get 2 free. Not buy one, get 1 free. Buy one, get 2 free. Pork chops, chicken, whatever. That's a good deal. Stock up. And then I'll go to Kroger, and I'll buy all of my, the other things that I need that are, 25, 50 cents more per item at Tom Thumb than they are at Kroger. And then I'll go to Dollar Tree. Dollar Tree for everything else. Snacks, aspirin, all of those things. I mean, doing your shopping, if you are an average American, is a pain in the ass now. I mean, it is really a lot of work. I would love to be able to just go to the most convenient store to my house and just push that cart up and down, and I want some of this and some of that. But that is the reality of the blessed few. There are people, and those people, I wish they'd be a little bit nicer and more appreciative of the state that they're in instead of being cocky jerks all the time, because the rest of us are struggling. The rank and file American citizen is out there struggling at the grocery store. So that's why milk is trending. Inflation has brought it from $1.99 a gallon to $2.79. And this poor family down there in Texas is buying 12 gallons of milk a week.
How many kids?
They've got 6 adopted kids and 2 kids of their own. So 8 kids. Here they are. They adopted all of these kids. They're lovely people.
That's a lot of milk, dude. Like, I don't think I drink a gallon. What are those things? Is that the plastic candle, or that's a gallon?
A gallon. The one you buy is a gallon.
Wow.
If you had 12 a week, they got 8 kids. So 6, 7, 8 kids plus 2 adults. So that's 10 people. And they go, that is a lot. That's like a gallon a week per person.
Per person. What the hell are they doing?
They probably are, like 1950s people. They probably drink a glass of milk with every meal, which I don't do. They probably have cereal for morning, every breakfast, cereal. I mean, I can see how you could do it. See, now, I grew up the grandson of a milkman. My grandpa ran a dairy, so we had milk coming out of our arse. We used milk for everything. So I could kind of see how that would work. Now, I mean, dude, you 75% of the milk you buy goes bad. It just sits there. And it's like you buy it. And at one point I was buying a gallon, you were buying a gallon. And then we're looking at these 2 giant tubs of cottage cheese. We're going, we don't drink milk fast enough. This stuff is all going bad.
Yeah. No, I just that just seems like a whole lot of milk intake per person.
I can see if they are the type of family that drinks a glass of milk with every meal, then yeah, you could drink a gallon. A single individual could drink a gallon of milk in a week, especially if they're having cereal every morning. But what does their cereal cost?
Yeah, like this is what I'm saying. If you're just drinking that much milk, imagine the rest of the food that's going with it.
Yeah, well, they showed her bill. The milk was the thing that started trending because of that number. But she said that in March of last year, all of her weekly groceries cost her between $150 and $170. She could get everything that she needed for the family between $150 and $170. Today, it's $300. I mean, it's almost doubled. That's inflation. There you go. Nah, Leslie, I'm sure that a quart of almond milk is a beautiful thing for you, but like I said, I'm the grandson of a milkman. That's blasphemy. I ain't drinking no almond milk.
The other
I
thing-
like milk, ice cold.
The other thing we figured out is you keep the refrigerator cooler, you can get past those expiration dates without it going bad.
Let me tell you something. That son of a milkman. All we drank all our life was expired milk because that was the shit that he brought home. The dates on those that say that they're expired, you got another 7 days. That's my grandpa used to rant about that, about how the FDA is screwing us because they want us to buy more milk to prop up the dairy farmers. I mean, he knew what it was because it was his business. And he was absolutely right. The day that it says, like if it says your milk expires on 11/4 today, no, you got another week. You can drink that fine. And trust me, you know when the milk is bad. It's not like, well, it's expired. Should I get rid of it? I used to clean out milk trucks with expired milk. You know the minute milk has turned. It reeks. It does. There is no doubt in your mind that it's bad. So technically, you get another 7 days. That's a good rule of thumb on that. Don't think you got to throw out your milk just because it's the 5th and it said it expired on the 4th. Trust me, grandson of a milkman. It's fine. I spent my whole life drinking that stuff. He would bring it home because he refused to waste it.
I mean,
And he's
isn't
right, it's
that
fine.
buttermilk ultimately where it starts to turn bad?
I don't know. I think there's probably a little difference. Oh, God, I'm starting to gag just thinking about this. Dude, in the summertime, like in August, the trucks in the dairy yard, we'd have the doors open, and I'd have to get the hose, and then Grandpa would be in his office, doing the receipts for all the milk that went out that day. And I just had to like take the hose and just clean out the back of the milk truck because every day a bottle would break, a carton would crack open, and you do this. You didn't do it every day. You did it like once a week. But over the course of a week in August, the milk that was on, oh my God, it's not good. I still gag thinking about that smell when I'd empty out all the crates and then have to wash down that thing. Oh my God. Good times. Good times. I'll tell you, I used to think this is a fun one because your dad, Big Johnny, was a big dude too. So like when you were little, didn't you just see things like when you were like 10 years old or something, you see things that your dad could do and you just thought, he's the strongest man in the world.
The fact that he was like 350 pounds.
Right. But still, there was because you were 10. You had no man strength, right? You didn't. And it wasn't even so much that your dad or my grandpa was a necessarily strong man, but they could just do things that we couldn't comprehend.
Yep.
Like, and milk was a good example. Like when I had to pull the milk out of the thing, I would take them. I'm 10 years old. I'm taking 1 gallon at a time, maybe 2, right? Because they're heavy. My grandpa used to pick up 2 crates and put them on each shoulder, and he's walking out and be like, wow,
right.
That is incredible. And then you get into a schoolyard fight because you maintain that your grandpa could beat up Charles Bronson because you saw him carry milk crates.
Yeah, no, it was like until later on in life, I never figured out, well, he weighs 350, so he's got to have some body mass because he's toting that much around. That's why he's, but like if you always see the strongest men, they're always huge like that, like the strongest man in the world. I mean, you got to have some body mass, I guess.
Yeah, absolutely.
Getting your fat ass off the couch at 350, you're going to be building some thigh muscles.
All right, that's going to do it, folks. Thank you so much for joining us. Come back, circle back around for Pillow Talk tonight at 9 o'clock. Musicians in the audience, John Hinckley is looking to form a band, so hit him up on Twitter.
Might have to move to Virginia.
Yeah, probably. All right, thank you, E. We've got no James tonight. James is going to the Toadies concert in New Orleans.
He'll be calling in like me.
Maybe. Yeah. If it was anything like you, I'm not really looking forward to it. No offense. But I mean, it was, All right, bye, everybody. We'll see you at 9 o'clock tonight for Pillow Talk. We appreciate you stopping by. Have a good one. We'll see you then. Bye, E. There he goes. Everybody wave. Here's John Hinckley for you. Enjoy.